when I was around 13 to 14 years old, okay, and when me and my family used to go to the market, right? When she used to live to the market, and me and my dad, instead of waiting there for hours together, waiting for her to come back, my father used to take me to a nearby internet cafe, and we used to sit there in front of a dusty computer and power the YouTube and search for cool science experiments. And the experiments would be such like, how to build volcanoes using baking soda, how to build rockets using water bottles, and how to rig up small LED circuits, right? Back then it was just 10 standard and you are trying to figure out these all things. And my father, he did not answer all the questions, but he always made to ask me a question, why do you think that happens? And this very question changed the trajectory of my life. My name is Nilesh Hadalgi, and I have been working in IT for a couple of years, and been into content creation for more than 4 years. And I have been talking about AI, programming, Python, coding, and more. And you know, so when I started, it was not so, I had a clear path, what to do, kind of a stuff. So eventually I figured out. So to tell you all the narration, I have split up all the stories into, a single story into 3 parts, wherein I will be deriving 3 outputs of each stories. So starting with part one, which I called as a curious student. So when I started out, I did not had figured out what to do in my early career or life, but I was a student who knew how to ask questions like why and what if kind of things, right? And back then, when I started, the internet was way expensive. Even if you want to recharge 200 MB, you have to pay like more than 200 cash, right? So from there, the best thing was, on the other hand, my father, who was a brilliant mechanical engineering, had a good knowledge in electrical and electronics, made sure there were a couple of equipments at home. The soldering guns, the cables, the LEDs, lights, switches, and spanners, wrenches, everything. So from there, he taught me how to solder, how to fix your own bicycle, how to open up the mixers and small things, right? And the core idea that he delivered to me was how to experiment without having a fear of breaking things. So from there on, this early encouragement laid the foundation for whatever I did later. So from there, my interest moved to computers. I learned how to build a computer, how to install operating system, how to fix printers, more. And then the interest slightly went into electronics. So I learned about Arduinos, Raspberry Pis, and more, right? So the one thing that came to my mind when I was trying to discover something and try to do a research on that and try to learn it, somewhere I come upon a truth saying that, there's something called as curiosity, right? Which we are naturally born with, right? So the curiosity, when nurtured, is more powerful than certainty. So that's the whole truth, I think, led to this all discovery of my part one. So you don't need to have a clear plan. You don't need to have a clear direction. All you have to do is, if you have any problem statement, just ask enough questions and see if you can answer them, or seek help from others and answer your questions and try to see if you can fix it, right? So that's how, you learn from your curiosity. The part two of the story is about creating a responsible profession. So since I learned a lot of things from YouTube, right, and I wanted to really give back to the community. So I thought, back then, like 6 years back, I guess, I had an Android phone with 3 megapixel camera. I used to just mount it vertically, put up a white sheet and start explaining math theorems and how to install custom ROMs on your, mobile phones, or how to activities and random tech thing that I found interesting at back then, right? And started uploading them. They did not work, obviously, because no research, nothing. It was just random kids sitting in front of camera and trying to do something. From then on, I tried different niche. I thought that this is not something for me. I changed my niche to started creating the meme content, the funny content, right? Then it did not work, right? And then I tried shout outs, that you click a photo of people and then just give it a shout out to them. That did not work. Cool. So this was just trial and errors that were going on. Alongside, I have my curious loop that, I'm good at something called as electronics. I need to pursue it. There are a lot of things happening around that topic. So I kept on learning. And Then the pandemic thing happened, right? The pandemic thing happened, and it was more like an opportunity for me. Honestly, the internet, Geo, was free, and quite a good amount of internet was there. And second was free time, and even I was in my college back then. So all I have to do is wake up every day, consume the content, see what the minor things that I can build out of it. And the best thing that I found back then was the Instagram carousels. So all I used to do is, let's say today I learned how to turn on an LED on and off with respect to Raspberry Pi. I used to simply document it as a carousel and post it, right? And then I created a home automation video. I just captured it all 360 degrees and posted. And a couple of those tutorials and videos got viral. And from there, the account grew like from 5K to 10K to 100K, and today it's nearly to a million. So the thing, this all looks like a great success, right? I mean, you just created what you knew and you just posted every day. That worked out. But honestly, it became like a pressure, you know. When I started out, it was more like I was having fun with it. I was doing it because I knew something I wanted to show off to my colleagues, right? But when it became like, the audience grew, they are expecting content right now. And you are a kid who don't know what to post for next 30 days. You don't know what is strategy, what is content planning, how to write a caption, how to write a storytelling data. So this all, no clue on how to edit the video, what tools are available. It was kind of a tremendous pressure to go through. So eventually, slowly, I figured out one after the another, one after the another. And today, even today, I have a couple of difficulties to write a storytelling script kind of things. But still, eventually, you figure out. So the core idea that I want to deliver with part 2 of my story is that the hobby or the interest will get you started. But if you really want to build a career out of it, then you need to be consistent, be eager to use your curiosity as a learning part and excel in it. So moving to my third part, which is more about adapting to the change. So this AI revolution thing happened quite 2-3 years back, and we all have access to the most of those AI tools now, right? And we basically use these AI tools for basic stuffs. For example, to paraphrase, to write an email, to just get the summary of something, right? So the core idea that I want to deliver with part 3 of my story is that when you just learn the basics, it is not going to make you the performer at the edge, right? So let me give you a classic example which I solved, which might help you to understand what I mean by a power user or the edge case user. So for example, as a content creator, I get emails every day. I open my email box, let's say even if there are 50 emails, if I just have to segregate a couple of them into promotional mails, people who are trying to get help from me, XYZ, right? So now each promotional mail comes with a particular brand, and they have their particular requirements, and they have their own deliverables or XYZ. So now my agentic workflow that I have built currently, it will go through the pipeline, try to understand which company we are talking about here. It will fetch what the pricing is there for these particular deliverables, and write a draft email and keep it ready. And the next, if there is a student who is asking something from my knowledge base, I will see if there is data available with respect to my knowledge, write a draft, keep it ready. So the next morning, when I fire up my laptop, sit in front of my Gmail, I just have to see if everything is written right properly and just fire the send button. This is one classic example. So the idea is whenever there is a new revolutionary technologies that are coming around, it's not that you just become a user of it. You should strive to be a power user to take that unfair advantage of whatever is happening. Until unless you don't push yourself to the edge of it, maybe someone else will do it and eventually get ahead of whatever you guys are planning. So one more classic example is, let's say, I have a habit of reading the scripts, right? So when I sit in front of a video camera and have some branded scripts, when I go through it, I sometimes have to repeat the sentences, right? And sometimes a 3-minute video would go long up to 15 minutes of recording. And now if I have to edit it, it would just to reduce the noise, just to cut out the repeated sentences, it would take me 1 hour or 1 hour 30 minutes, right? So now how do I automate it, right? So now I have an agentic workflow built by myself wherein it is going to, convert the video into transcript, cut down the audio frequencies, see the repeatability. Now there is an AI agent coming into play. ChatGPT is going to come into the play. It is going to take the transcript, rewrite the sentence, match the timestamps, and then export it as a Premiere profile. And now, when I sit for the editing, I'll simply drag drop the PR file, and now I have the complete pipeline for starting to add the overlays, the subtitles. To an extent, a lot of this can be automated, but this is what current workflow I am using. So there are more use cases of being a power user. So all I want to say is, whenever there is anything that you want to, whenever you are building something and you want to really take that unfair advantage, always do a research of what is the best in the market for now and see how you can build the most out of it and start implementing it. The core idea why I try to automate my stuff, like let it be the content creation, let it be my email automations, it's because I have two professions, right? I'm a software engineer, also a content creator. I will get hardly some time to focus on content creation, right? So, but I don't want to leave it. So now I just need to squeeze down my time to get more out of whatever time I have left. And this remaining time will help me to do more research. And it's not all about just putting out the content. You need to be also growing with your content. You need to know more than what your content is put out. And other good thing is that, since doctor also mentioned that we do doom scrolling, right? The final thing that I want to state is, even after me posting content on Instagram for now for 4 years or more, my Instagram time is like hardly 3 hours. I mean, it's more like, there is a statement for Mark Zuckerberg also. The dealer is not the consumer. Dealer is never a consumer, right? So all I want to conclude my speech is with, have the curiosity to learn, have the, what do we call, consistency to build a career out of it or build something out of profession out of it, and make sure that you are adapting to change to make sure that you build that unfair advantage for yourself and be focused. Yeah. So thank you.